Nintendo has had hundreds of important characters throughout their history, so it makes sense that some of those would get lost, forgotten, or simply overlooked as time has gone on. Here's 6 major characters that Nintendo forgot about. First off, Swanky Kong. Swanky is the fashionable showman of the Kong family. Many have speculated that he is in fact Donkey Kong's brother, considering his near identical appearance to the franchise's main character. Swanky originally appeared in Donkey Kong Country 2 on the Super Nintendo, and in it, he appears as a game show host where you have to answer multiple choice questions correctly in order to earn prizes. The next time we see him is 1 year later in Donkey Kong Country 3, where he is now designed as a carnival worker, but after this point in the series, he's almost completely non-existent. Even in Kong-infested games like Diddy Kong Racing, Swanky is nowhere to be found. Number 2. Kraid. As someone who grew up on the NES Metroid and on Super Metroid on the Super Nintendo, this one hurts quite a bit. Kraid is one of the more intimidating bosses of the Metroid franchise. The thing is, he had a really significant start to the series, as he and Ridley were initially equals as the only 2 bosses Samus faced before the final confrontation with Mother Brain. Once again, he played a significant role as a major boss in games like Metroid Zero Mission and Super Metroid. But unfortunately, after that point, his role was basically reduced to a background character. To my disappointment, he never makes an appearance in any of the 3 Metroid Prime games, and the only time he appears on a 3D console is as a stage hazard for Smash Bros. Melee on the Nintendo GameCube. Although he looks amazing on Melee, it's a bit of a bittersweet tease of what we could have had in Metroid Prime if he hadn't been scrapped and replaced by the Omega Pirate. His most recent appearance in a Nintendo game was as a minigame boss for Nintendo Land on the Wii U. Kraid will definitely get his own video at some point on this channel because he definitely deserves better. Number 3. Viewtiful Joe. The Viewtiful Joe games were critically acclaimed and are some of the more underrated games of Nintendo's history. They were incredibly fun side-scrolling beat-em-ups in the mid-2000s. Between 2003 and 2005, we got 3 games on the GameCube and 1 on the Nintendo DS. But unfortunately, despite being received well and despite becoming a cult classic, 2005 was the last we've seen of Viewtiful Joe. Now technically, he isn't a Nintendo property, as his rights belong to Capcom, so ultimately it's their decision if they want to continue the series. But a phone call and a little nudging from Nintendo would certainly help. And considering the fact that Viewtiful Joe games were always low-budget productions, there certainly isn't much risk involved. Number 4. Agonim. He's the demonic wizard who's most famous for his role in The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, but he also appeared in The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. This guy isn't just a significant villain, but he's actually one of Ganon's main servants, and in A Link to the Past comics from Nintendo Power magazines, he's the most consistently featured enemy throughout. Spoiler alert for a game that's nearly 30 years old, but near the end of A Link to the Past, after you defeat the Dark Wizard a second time, it's revealed that the Agonim was actually an alter ego of Ganon's. With such a prominent presence as a major villain in the 90s, and with all of his ties to Ganondorf, it is a bit puzzling why he hasn't been featured as a major villain in the game since. Number 5. Errol. She's the little sister of the hero of time himself, Link, from the Legend of Zelda series. She's a non-playable character who's kind and innocent, and obviously isn't known for any type of combat. The only time she played a major role was in The Legend of Zelda: Wind Waker on the Nintendo GameCube. Her kidnapping was actually the driving force of the game, as Link set out to rescue his sister, which was certainly a plot element that wasn't in line with the more traditional Zelda games. Regardless, I like the idea of expanding what we know about Link's family and using his family as a catalyst for his mission. But since Wind Waker, she's basically been non-existent. Apparently, in Hyrule Warriors, the character Linkle was originally planned to be Link's sister Errol, as you can vaguely see how her appearance resembles that of Link's sister. With that being said, there's still yet to be any true representation of Link's sister since Wind Waker, and it's questionable whether or not there ever will be. Number 6. Resetti. He's one of the traditionally prominent characters throughout the Animal Crossing series, but is almost completely absent from the latest version, New Horizons. He's an extremely irritable mole whose name is inspired from the concept of resetting the game. If you were to reset your console without saving, Resetti would appear the next time you played and proceed to berate you with insults, a condescending tone, and plenty of capital letters. Some found him annoying, some found him hilarious, and honestly, I was a little bit of both. His presence is missed in New Horizons though, as the new autosave function made him basically obsolete. He isn't completely absent though, as his theme plays while you're dialoguing with the operator for the rescue service, which pretty much confirms that it is in fact Resetti that you're speaking with. An image of him also appears when you have a communication error, but other than this small image, you never actually see him in the game. In this specific case though, you probably wouldn't describe him as forgotten, but more like pushed aside. So now it's your turn. What is a forgotten, overlooked, or pushed aside character from Nintendo that you would like to see make a return? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more Nintendo content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.